Hey everybody, it's Tony. I am here with my brother's 2003 Suzuki LTZ 400. So previously we've replaced the jug, the piston, of course the rings, stuff like that, timing chain guides. The tensioner looked like it was still in really good shape, so we just reused that one. So when we put it all back together, everything ran fine. We went riding for a day. We broke it in for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours before we really started giving it the beans. Everything went good. It rode good. We drove a full day, full gas tank. Once we got it back, then of course, we put it up, and then the next day we tried to crank it up, and then so now we're starting to have problems, starting to backfire a little through the intake, a little bit through the exhaust. So I pulled ahead, put everything back on top dead center. Everything looked good. Timing chain, everything, cams, everything looked good. But then when I went to go use my feeler gauge to check the clearance in between the cam and the buckets on the valves, intake, I can't get no feeler gauge through there. The exhaust side looks really good. All the measurements look really good. So I don't know, possibly something's going on with the intake valves. So what I'm going to do today, we're going to go ahead and pop the head off, pop the cams out and all that. Flip the head over and look. What I did do over the weekend, I pulled the carburetor and stuff off and put a little bit of gasoline down in the intake. And I noticed that, it seeped out into the cylinder, which kind of tells me that maybe we have a bent valve or something's keeping the valve from closing. I don't know. I don't have a bore scope to be able to look down in there and tell. So I'm just going to pop the head off, flip it over, and then kind of check it from there. If I have to, new valve kit on Amazon ain't but $50, and it comes with everything, the valves, the springs, the shims, and new buckets and all. So we'll go ahead and start tearing it down and get into it, and let's see what we can find. All right, guys. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but right here on this intake valve, the bucket's pushed all the way up whenever I pulled the cam and all, or took the bolts out for the little keeper that holds the cam in. This little bucket right here kicked up, so I'm willing to bet you that this bad boy came apart. Also, the valve was holding open a little bit, so willing to bet we're gonna have a mess up under here. Yep. So if you notice, here's the pieces to it here. So the little keepers here. We'll get the other one out. Yep. Looks like it's scored up a little bit. So if you can tell here, looks like it either, let's pull it off and see what we see. So we have a couple of marks here where it looks like it popped out. So that would be a pretty good indication of a valve failure there. Get this old spring out of here. I'll set that right there for right now. Looks like the valve got a little notch missing out of it here. Let's go ahead and pull that old girl out, see what she looks like. Yep, we got a little internal failure there. So if you look there, you can tell where it's chipped that little bad boy off. So it looks like we're gonna have to get some new valve springs, the little keepers. They come with the little seals in here and all that. So we'll go ahead and get all of that ordered. It's only about 50 bucks from Amazon, so we'll get those and get those put in. And then we'll figure out, we'll get those in, and we'll probably get us some hot shims. You know, from there's a little shim that's in here that kind of sits in the top of here, and then the bucket goes over top. I don't know if you can tell in here. Let me get this out for you guys so y'all can see. So this little shim, I hate doing that with the magnet. So this little guy right here pretty much just sits in the top of here. So whenever the bucket's on top and it rolls on that cam, you know, it kind of helps push that bad boy up and down. So that would give us a pretty good indication of why we're backfiring and all. The spring and all looks good. Everything looks good except for this here valve that, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's got a, look like somebody knocked a little bark off of it. Maybe over revving it or something like that. I'm not sure how that could have happened. I don't know if it's the big bore had anything to do with it or not, but I don't know. But what we'll do is we'll get us a new valve set, which, like I said, it comes with everything. Comes with the buckets, which these little guys here is what they call the buckets, and then the keepers and everything like that. We'll get that ordered from Amazon. They said it'll take about 2-3 days to get here, which Amazon's pretty good about delivering stuff. I pretty much order all my parts from Amazon. 9 times out of 10, I have good experience with the Amazon parts and stuff, as long as everything matches up, you know, numbers and all. You know, and we'll get that new set and get them in there. So there's really no reason to do a leak down test, because I mean, the valve's holding open because it came apart. The little catch ring that it has on there, I mean, it looks like it's still good, but I hate to put this back together and then try it. You know, I figured the little $50 replacement would probably do us justice. I'm not sure. Valve doesn't look really too bad. The edges look pretty good. I don't really see too much problems with that. So, yeah. So those are our 2 intakes. These will be our exhausts with their shims. When I take stuff apart, I like to kind of set stuff up the kind of way it was whenever I took it apart. So whenever I put it back together, I'll kind of know where everything goes. But in this case, since we're getting all new, I guess it really doesn't matter much, just for reference. All right, well, everything looks smooth in there, so I don't think we're gonna need a head. I think we'll be okay. Everything feels pretty good. You know, we don't have a professional shop here, and we don't have a big fat bank accounts to be able to just buy all new. if you bought this head brand new off of Amazon with everything, with the valves and everything already in it, kind of bolt up and ready to go, it's like $800 for it. So I don't even think my brother even paid, but probably $800 for the entire four-wheeler. So what we're going to do, we're just going to get all the valves and springs and all the new buckets. You know, we're going to get the little valve rebuild kit. We'll get all those and get them put in and put it back together and see what we got. All right, cool. Thanks, guys.